This is the story of Radha, a restless teenager growing up in a comfortable upper middle class family in Naples, Italy. From outside, everything seemed perfect: stability, security, a respectable future waiting patiently in line. But inside, something in her resisted. The life she saw around her felt predictable, mechanical, almost meaningless. And so, driven by an inner fire she could not explain, Radha ran away from home, not in rebellion alone, but in search. The search for something real. That search, and through many adventures of her own, which she describes in her book, Tantra, A Way of Loving and Living, eventually brought her to Osho. The first meeting was not just another moment in a young seeker's life, it was a shock of recognition, an experience so powerful that she later said it could have been enough for the rest of her life. But one thing was clear: her decision to take sannyas was not casual. It arose from somewhere deeper than the analytical mind, from a place of knowing rather than thinking, a silent clarity that she had arrived where she was meant to be. For Radha, Tantra is not a technique, not a philosophy, not even something she practices. It is simply the way her energy moves through life. Radha describes herself as a woman, a meditator, a mystique. These are her realities and priorities. Scientific understanding and rational explanations are way down in her list. However, there is a method to the non method. Radha calls this the invisible ingredient, the mysterious X. It is the unique flavor of her work. It's not something she does intentionally or she tries to produce, but something that happens naturally in her presence, without effort, without even trying to teach. She becomes a catalyst, as if something that was already there suddenly remembers itself. That is the quiet paradox of her work. She does not give Tantra, she simply awakens the Tantra that is already within others. Radha says, when working with a group or with individuals, I trust three things: the gift of being a catalyst, my intuition, and my Guru Osho. So, Radha, it's truly a joy that you're here, and I'm so excited to share this space with you. Please welcome Radha.
Hi, Radha.
Hi.
Maybe we will get confused between the Radhas for the next
Yeah,
hour.
For you now, today, only you are Radha.
Thank you for offering me this opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you. So, Radha, as I said, not just our names, my feeling of this path is I resonated so much with what was yours. It's this life echoes that I heard on the way you have journeyed through this thing. It's the receptivity, the mysterious way life arranges itself and things fall in place. There's a small difference. Your life is like, probably my life is not even 5% as adventurous. I took the cautious path. um, but that's why I'm so excited, because I wish to learn from you. So, as a teenager, you were brave and courageous. What made you that brave? Was it love, truth? What were you looking for?
I think the reason why you say I was so brave was because I was in a sort of cage with the repression of the family. That was, different kind of repression than the Indian repression, but all the way a repression. And also around me, a very, not very religious, but quite religious Catholic family, especially, I would say, my mother. And so the feeling also of that all that is I'm going to have to look for is to find a husband and create a family, and that's it. And for me, just it didn't seem a normal thing to do. I don't know why, or maybe for a while I might have dreamt of that, but very quickly I understood that this wasn't what I wanted at that time, more like a teenage time.
Where does a woman get her power from? What do you think in your experience?
I think the more you become spontaneous, even though you might make a lot of mistakes, you start to know yourself more and more. For me, that has been the direction. Of course, I think I wouldn't been able to have that kind of conscious direction unless I would have met Osho. But the beginning of my wild time was before I met Osho. I met Osho when I was 19 years old. And before that, already I was a bit of a rebel. And I was just very much looking forward, experiencing things in my life. And of course, a little unaware of mistakes that could happen through this.
Mm.
So I think if you don't if you don't make mistakes, I think that's my my recipe. If you don't make mistake, you cannot be courageous.
Mm. Well said. But such a hard thing, right? You always choose the safer, and that's what I
Yeah.
find so amazing. That I almost had the same conservative structure around me, but I didn't have that much guts to just break and maybe not even the awareness. Honestly, you think courage, but it's also this extreme need right inside you too.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So, my basic question is Tantra sex possible without two people being in love? Because a lot of my questions will be based on that premises. Is it possible that two people are not in love and they can still enjoy a fulfilling sexual experience? Is that what Tantra is based on?
Tantra is not based on sexual experience. It's very important to understand that. For me, at least, Tantra, it's a method for expansion, and if you start to um, meditate and also, allow your sexual energy to be present, like even in meditation, you might also feel it. Energy starts from sex. So if meditation and sexual energy, I like to underline sexual energy, not sex,
Okay.
because a lot of people think that Tantra is basically about having a good sex meeting. And of course, yes, why not? That would be fun, would be great. But the point is, if you look at that, it's almost always impossible because our personality come in between. When you have a couple, especially when couples are married, or maybe they have let's call it a serious relationship, it's much more difficult to have a meeting that uh, allows you to really dive into this energy. So it's not about having to have love before you start. It's about first understanding sexual energy. And that's why I say maybe you have to make some mistakes, because if you only do have sex only with, for example, only with one person in your life, which is many times, even in the Catholics, it's like, you meet the man of your life and you get married and that's it. You're
Okay.
not supposed to do any experiments anywhere else or any with anybody else. So then it's very difficult for anybody to dive into that space of mystery, of an energy space. Now, I have to say that I was so lucky that when I arrived, first that I was very young, second that I met Osho when he was quite in the beginning of his experiments of energy
Mm.
transmissions. And I had no idea what energy was until then.
Mm.
Um, Maybe I had some experience through drugs because, as you have read in the book, I even dare enough to be, experiencing things which were going beyond my set personality, my, yeah, I call it personality, we can call it ego or whatever, but the point is to go beyond something that you know. Then you start to know the mystery. So
Mm.
those experiences, I was, it's like was like a window for me, in order. So this is not regarding sex, but regarding energy. So I had some energy experience during this drug experience, which in those days were still quite nice drugs rather than the horrible drugs that go around now.
Mhm.
Of course, this for me it's a very very long time ago. Um, but I see now, people, they really destroy themselves with what young people. So for me, I had the very very lucky thing to meet Osho at that time. So almost in the first few weeks that I met him, I start anyway. Not only in the first few weeks, when I actually saw this guy, when I entered the place where I was going to be received, already I start to really feel a lot of energy, which was amazing for me.
Yeah.
But that's another story. So for me, the idea of how this method must have been created, this method of Tantra, is because of wanting to give people the experience of the beyond. And you can only do it with energy that you know what energy is.
Mm.
So in those days, and the transmission, which you probably in India call Shaktipat, it's like a transmission of energy, was for me an experience which, yes, was beyond anything, but also it had a certain start, which was also a sexual energy. But all this was happening, let's call it by itself. It wasn't about having sex. It was wow, it was like fireworks.
Yeah. No, I
So
get
that,
it. I get it that Tantra is definitely, it uses sex, and that is why this question of mine, um, is it necessary for two people to be in love? Because when you use something as a tool, there is a possibility of being exploited, one person exploiting the other
yeah,
person. Like it, because even Osho says in his book of secrets that Tantra is just a tool, sex is just a tool.
yeah.
And that kind of bothers me a little bit, because the amount of manipulation that can go on.
Oh, it does, and it did.
Okay.
And I think the difference is, if you meet a real master, like Osho is, it's there is no manipulation, there is no, it's just that this happens, and you start to understand by, day by day, having more experiences of energy and more experiences, actually, uh, knowing that this energy starts in sex, but it goes beyond all the different chakras. So the first few times that Osho, he didn't do any Shaktipat, like, nothing like that. Just I was in his presence,
Yeah.
and I would just have orgasms, which were energy orgasms,
Mhm.
but so powerful that the first few times I collapsed on the floor and they had to carry me out, but it was bliss. It was, nothing to do with, like feeling unconscious or anything like that. I was fully present.
So you think Tantra is a path where you have to be initiated by a guru? You think it's an absolute necessary?
I don't know about that, but I have.
Yeah.
So my experience is this, and I work now since the last 30 years I work with people, and of course, I try to offer them a little taste of this.
Yeah. So you also say that this way that you have experienced with Osho is very different from the ritualistic tantra way, which I agree with you because I've seen a lot of different, or I've heard a lot of different stories. So what role does nature play in this new contemporary form of tantra that say you have experienced of, or
I mean, I don't know now exactly what traditional tantra is teaching. You know, I'm not a bookish type, so my why I have called my work tantra is because, um, as I told you, the experience of energy always has to start from sex. It cannot start from somewhere else. Otherwise, you're not rooted. So in those days, being a young girl, um, I realized that the only thing I was aware of really was sexual energy. This is an energy that everybody knows a little bit about. And I think that's how actually in the ancient times the Tantra was developed. Because even when you have a very regular release, orgasm or ejaculation, for a very, very small moment, your mind is not in control. And in those gaps, you have such a deep moment of relaxation, then you start to understand that there is something more. So even when you now ask me, do people need to be in love? I think nobody knows what really love is because we personalize love. And to me, uh, love is unpersonal love. When you start to understand that, then it's very, very different. So, yes, you can be very loving. I'm not saying there is no need to have like a connection, a deep connection with somebody, but I found in my experience it's much more difficult to actually share deep moments with somebody that you know already, or because you expect things. Always the mind expect things, so you expect to have an incredible time, and maybe you love this person, but then the results very often are not the incredible times. And but at the same time, for me, when people come to my groups, I can only say, experience first how to meditate. If you can meditate, if you can get a little more relaxed through all those meditation techniques that Osho has created, and more, then you start to have a little more relaxation. When you have more relaxation, you are more present. When you are more present, you are with the other person if you're meeting somebody. And when you are with the other person, you can experience love deeply. But we are always thinking of something, and also all these connections and sexual time is often very much of a waste. It's fun. I mean, I'm not judging something about that. Maybe people, relax through this, but they're doing with serious faces, let's let's do it. And there is a lot of doing, and I don't think it's easy for anybody to relax into that flow unless there is meditation that comes together. So let's say sex and meditation, sexual energy and meditation, to me, they must be together. Otherwise, it's very, very difficult to even experience moments which are So beautiful.
It's just such a catch 22 because really it's so hard to meditate for normally if you
Yeah.
by some grace or by your own effort you don't go into it, and even sex becomes meaningless if that's not there. And so I was hoping today to hear from you that, oh, sex makes meditation easier.
In a way, because it is a method, you can use it as a method, but then you have to go step by step. For example, I always suggest watch your breath. When you're making love, don't get all like and then we are so used to doing, because the mind only wants to do and reach a goal, and then when your goal is over, ciao, finito. So that is with work, that is with our direction, maybe making a family or whatever. But then you go for it, you're excited to go for it, and then you make it even more intense than needs to be, and then you're looking for incredible goal, but when the goal comes, you lose all the beauty of it.
Yeah,
And so I think that's the case with most of people.
probably 99.999%, maybe
Yeah,
few.
but if you use this time in different ways, it can be fun. Of course, you either need to have a partner that agrees with you to do this, or you can do it by yourself with a partner, meaning that's a little more difficult, but absolutely possible. If you are aware of your own breath when you are making love, when you are aware of your own speed when you're making love, whether you are a man or a woman, if you are aware of, maybe you are accelerating, maybe you are stop breathing, or this is a meditation. This is by, you are able to watch how it's even easier. It's even, faster how you feel about your own body when you are making love. But you need to bring awareness there.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying, absolutely. But I have this experience that your whole it's not you cannot take one act in seclusion and say, I will bring my awareness to that, because if your whole life is designed around doing things in a very goal oriented, faster way,
Yeah.
which most of our lives are, um, and I think the whole planet is set that way, right? And you cannot just, if you see, it's all yoga, it's all will, determination, pursue something, accomplish it, reach that place. And if you don't do it, you're kind of punished also for it with materialistic losses, and not growing in your jobs or your personal relationships failing. It's always about, you have to try more, you have to do more. Um so I don't know, I mean, we talk about sex, but I think it's like a culmination of all these activities together that you get into the to your
Yeah,
bedroom.
but that is looking on the outside, the surrounding. Of
Mhm.
course, yes, the whole planet is in that situation, but the planet is you and me. The planet is, if you take it to yourself, then Radha, whichever Radha of these two, can be, just letting the planet take you in that direction, or Radha can remember. You just remember yourself, and you breathe. You breathe, maybe you realize, oh, I'm breathing so fast. Why am I doing this so fast? Then you start to breathe out.
Mhm.
And this is just a small thing, but it's very big. Or, of course, if two are doing it, wow, that's amazing, because then suddenly you start to tune in with the other person. But almost never this happens.
Yes, I agree with you. The one person seems easier.
Yes.
um, if ever. Just like imagine there was a
Yeah.
planet which had Tantra as its basis, where, everything,
Tantra as
its basis, not yoga. Like,
basis. Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
this planet, I feel it's very yoga, like, like do something, and but there's some different place altogether, a different planet. What would life look like there?
I
If
mean,
you,
you are giving a nickname to to the doing, and I think there is a balance between doing and non-doing. And when you start to be more and more centered on you, and you start with the body, you centering because you are aware of your body, then that mix of doing and non-doing starts to come together, and the experience of flowing, not fighting, or not overacting, or not pushing, it cannot happen.
Mm,
But again, I say, I if I wouldn't have been a meditator, this probably wouldn't have been my full experience. I might have been,
mhm.
I might have had moments. So, yeah.
Yeah. So some effort has to be there, I guess. That's what you're saying to begin with.
Well, to begin with, I think it's more than an effort. Is a passion, a passion.
Mm. I know, I'm going to speak for a lot of women that I meet, and I usually feel a lot of um, passionate interest in this topic is because all my friends who are married or who are in relationships, I see them, or the mothers, they're always pouring so much into the other. Like if it is at work, if it is marriage, if it is kids, whatever community, they give so much, so much, and then they're like waiting outside to receive. And usually, what you get is breadcrumbs. There's a thing which we call breadcrumbing in this generation.
I know.
Yeah. And it just, I'm like, and the opposite of that, when everybody say is, oh, put all that in yourself. I don't understand what it means. How can you love, just like, if you want to do something for someone, how do you do it for yourself? Like, I don't get it. What do you, you know?
No, I would say that a little different. That when we give so much, in fact, we are expecting to get something back.
Hmm.
That's it's not that we are giving because we are so loving. We are loving. Maybe women anyway, a little more loving than men, but not always. And so but whatever it is, when you say you put so much out, you are doing it because you want to receive back.
Yes.
And whenever you have expectations, it's never going to be fulfilled, never. So it's not about giving it to yourself, it's like, it's simply just give without any hope for returns.
Oh my God.
I know it's not for by now. I think for me it is mostly, let's say, almost always. I have learned my lesson, so I'm not expecting. But of course, there is always a part of the mind that expects. For me, at this time of my life, my joy is to be able to give. So if I'm giving to you, I'm so happy that you can receive. And but of course, many times in my life I wanted to get back, and still now once in a while, I do. I feel because I'm not getting back all that much that I am showering. So it's not give it to yourself, it's simply be aware that there is this mechanism in the mind. I give you this is a commerce. I give you this, you give me back. And if you don't give me back, you're terrible, and I'm frustrated. And that's the whole thing goes on and on forever.
Mm. How do you get over that disappointment when you don't like,
You
because
don't get over
no, you just
no, you don't get over because it's only, I think, to see that to see that, oh, I go, like this again. I say to myself, oh, here we go again. Now I'm expecting something back. That's why I'm so disappointed. That's why I'm so frustrated. So, two things. Either you look at it and you stay with that and you start to stop expecting something back, or most of the time we think that, oh, maybe somebody else, maybe not this one, but somebody else will give it to me or whatever. So
yeah.
I don't think I don't think you ever will get fulfilled unless you are okay with yourself.
How do you become okay with yourself?
That's I don't know, but it's possible. But it's possible.
It's possible.
Yeah, it's
That
possible.
there's hope in there then. If you're saying because throughout the day there are so many things. My hair's not looking good, my kids are not wearing doing things that they should be, my husband's saying things that I don't like, my job is suck,
Yes.
my boss doesn't like me, I don't like him. you know
But this is the personality where everybody has a personality, everybody has these issues. But if you don't learn how to be center in this, okay, I'm here, I'm feeling this frustration, I'm feeling this anger, I'm feeling this sense of abandonment, or the fact that this is not, I'm not getting anywhere with this person or this guy or this woman. And then at the same time realizing that there is always an expectation, and if you keep going into that track, there is no way out. But
Mm,
if you start to let it slide over you, but not in a cold way, just keep staying with you, keep staying with what is your
mm.
intent, and
what
then.
i'm what I'm hearing is a slower pace of life might help, like, so that you get more time to watch yourself too, right, in the beginning,
But
probably.
I think a slow pace is still a pace. I think it is fundamental to practice meditation. That's the only thing I can give as a medicine. Like Osho says, my only medicine is meditation.
Yeah.
If you meditate, not just listening to Osho's words, which is always wonderful, but if you meditate actively,
Yeah.
and take your time at a minimum an hour a day. I don't know if you can find that hour, but there is ways to find it, I'm sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty sure an hour in a day, most of us can. You can wake up
Yeah,
early, you can go to bed early or
I
early
mean,
too.
people do a lot of they go running, they do this, they do that. Maybe they can make also a meditation out of these activities, but if you really dedicate your time for a meditation technique, I am sure that the slow pace comes by itself.
Yeah. Mm. I agree with you. That
Yeah.
has been my experience too. It just
Okay.
automatically translates to,
Yes. Yes.
yeah. Fun question. So people say women are more sexually powerful. Is it true or is it a myth?
It's true.
It's true.
Well, I mean, I think in some of Osho's discourses, you must have heard him saying that, for example, women, once they finally have orgasm, because it's also very difficult for women, um, then they can have 10 orgasm. I mean, I'm just joking, but it's possible. But if a man also has, let's even say that he is a Tantra man and he has an orgasm, for him is not the same than a woman, because physically speaking, a man needs time to pick up again his energy physically and starts to have something else. So I think it is just a normal physical situation that women can have much more orgasms. The point is that no man has been teaching women how to have orgasm, and usually they are not very comfortable with this subject. It's just a very general thing, but then women need to find out what is happening to them, and whether this is going to be possible, and they don't need necessarily teaching from the men they're with. Maybe they can learn from other women, or something like that. But yes, I'm sure the women, once that energy rises, and once you are able to explode with joy and craziness, then you are like a atom bomb,
Mm. Maybe
atomic
then even
energy.
meditations are easier. Maybe even centering is easier.
Yeah,
Everything.
all.
Yeah.
Yes.
So kind of it's a key, right? Somewhere that
To
if we.
me, it's a key, because I had the great luck to experience that,
Mm,
and to experience it in young age
mm,
and out of society, because I went to Osho,
mm,
to Pune,
mm.
to India. So it was there at
It
that
was safe.
time.
A lot of people who came, they were also meditators, right? They were not.
I mean, we all became meditators.
Yeah.
I didn't know what meditation, beside the Beatles. I didn't know. I knew Beatles had gone to India and they were meditating. I just heard that. That's it. I never knew what meditation was about.
Mm.
At least in India, everybody knows, but that doesn't mean
Yeah,
that
they
they
just
know.
know. Yeah, they don't
Yeah,
understand. Yeah.
yeah,
We think we know, but
yeah,
we.
yeah, yeah. Exactly. I know that. I experienced that in my many years in India.
Yeah, yeah. I used to think I know everything about spirituality until I
Yeah.
started listening to Osho, and I thought I was not interested in spirituality at all because it was mumbo jumbo to me. But but then Osho spoke
Yeah,
so many different things, and this one thing actually has always interested me. I always thought it's like a lid put tightly on something that could just clean up the entire slate, and just like there would be sparkles, and like there would be
yeah.
an explosion happening all around. um why do you think men are so scared of exploring this side? Is it control they want? Is it the lack of, they think uh, they lack, they cannot like perform to the level is expected, or what is it that they have these blocks?
What I have heard and also I have experienced is that for men, it's they're very connected to penis and erection, and if that is not as wonderful as one expects, I mean, it's like ego and that are very connected. So
Mm,
for men, even talking sometimes about this subject, they will not be very happy about it. They would be uncomfortable. For men, I think this is the start. This is the start. Of course, not every man is like that. So please don't think that I'm generalizing. But I think for a man to have a good size and a good capacity to have sex is very, very important. And if even a woman laughs, for example, me, when I have orgasm, I laugh like crazy. So many men run away from me because of this. I wasn't laughing at them. I was just laughing, enjoying myself,
mm,
and crying sometimes because it's so beautiful. No?
mm,
But
mm,
the emotional body is not part of so easily part of men's experience in sex. But I'm talking not emotional body, but sensuous second chakra for a woman is very, very active. For a man is the first chakra that is more positive, positive energy.
Mm.
It's complicated things to talk
Yeah, I
about.
think there should be a school, complete school, where the way you send your kids, like we go
Yeah,
and we learn all this, and it'll be
yes,
so much fun and easy.
I know.
um, I know you were with in your book. You say you were with a man called Chinmaya. Is that Yog Chinmaya that I've heard later on?
Ah, yes.
Yeah. So you had this desire to reach the unreachable inside. And I think it's true for every woman. We always try to find the most emotionally unavailable
Yeah.
person, and we always target it, and
Yes.
we're like, oh, I'm
Yeah.
going to make him emotionally about me.
Right.
So,
I
it's,
know. It's true.
yeah, it is very
Yeah.
much true. Um, but how do you get out of this trap? It is so irresistible, right? Just to want someone who is like sitting on this ice clay.
Well, in my case with Yoga Chimaya was beautiful because at least he was a proper yogi and he was very, very present in terms of meditation. So he was a great teacher in that direction, you know. I mean, it was my first years in Pune, my first year, I think. And to have somebody that would explain me so many things about energy, about chakra, too much maybe, because he was speaking always about very, but it was important for me. And then my experience with him was right away almost a celibate experience because Osho told us to be celibate, and I think that increased my understanding of energy at that time. But to go for the unreachable, yes, you're right. I don't know if the Krishna Radhas are pairing with that, but yes, this was also my idea that oh yes, I have to change this man, and and that's how it went, and it repeated itself many times.
I think it's a classic story with most.
Yeah,
Yeah, I wouldn't say everyone, but
yeah,
it's that Beauty and the Beast. You have in your head like, oh, the Beast. I'm going to change him.
possible.
I don't know what joy you get out of it. It just brings a lot of torture to a lot of women, but it is what it is. Um, this is your website where you have a lot of groups and workshops. What exactly is your goal through these workshops?
None. To be honest, no goal whatsoever. I also, by the way, I don't teach couples, but I do very small groups for couples, but mostly for individual people, whether they are in a relationship or not. I suggest that in the beginning they should come not with their partner, because it's going to be very difficult to break certain patterns when you are together. This is just my style. For me, the path of Tantra is first alone, and and then to have to have couples. I mean, I can only make short groups for couples because generally now in the West, Tantra for couples, many times it's to patch up your relationship,
Mm,
and I don't believe that is possible.
mm.
I just believe that you have to break your own patterns. You have to open and awaken your own energy through some teacher, me, for example. But you cannot imagine, you cannot expect that just by doing something uh, nice in a nice way with your partner, it's going to make your couple go deep into Tantra. Some other people, other teachers, they probably teach for couples. I'm not that one.
No, you're the genuine one.
I
because
don't
I
know, but
no
some
because
people don't like that.
I can
Some
see a
people
lot of
don't like.
Yeah, a lot of friends of mine, it's like we have to make a fixed date night, we have to keep this relationship going on, and fine, but it just seems too much effort, more effort to me. Like, already so much effort is going on and everything, and then you dress up, you like put your makeup on, then you go somewhere. I'm like, I don't know how much.
Yeah.
And then there's like, oh, you come back and you have sex. I'm like, you know.
I'm too, I'm too tired. I go to sleep.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It seems like a quick fix, a bandit, like as if like you're doing something. So hopefully it's
Yeah.
sleep. But yeah, your way and understanding yourself seems very much more reasonable, and also something which can possibly get you results. So,
It works. I have done this now for 30 years. Basically, I was a bit lost about what am I going to do when I had to leave the ashram and Osho had left the body, and I didn't know how to, what to do. But there was a way. I asked myself, what is it that you like? I asked myself. I said, oh, I love people. I'm very curious about people. I'm very interested in their life. This has always been my thing.
mm,
And then what? What else? I love sex. I
mm,
always loved sex, of course, but in the beginning of my life, I couldn't have good sex. I didn't understand anything about why everybody is so, frustrated, and I myself was. And then, through Osho, through this meditation, through living in the ashram, I learned that this could be completely different. So
mm,
I loved it. I loved it. I had so much fun. And so these two things I knew. So I said, okay, let's try. I start to do some work, which, I love energy basically. And but then I understood that to work with people and start to teach energy is useless, because actually people don't know what is energy. And so, in my own kind of self made way, I thought, okay, maybe I start from sex, because I had some experiences
mm,
first with that, and
mm.
I can share that, about this. And that's how it all was born in Tantra Life.
It's
Starts from
beautiful,
there.
beautiful, because the only time you feel anything is definitely in sex, and even if it's a bad sex, you feel something.
Yeah,
So,
of course. You do.
yeah, you might feel horrible, but that the horrible feeling is there.
Yes. But basically, that we feel our body energy in the beginning of our experiences in life. We feel it there. So that's why I thought, oh, okay. Then I start from there.
How do you see this work growing? Where do you see this? Like,
It's not easy to work with Tantra.
yeah.
I mean, it's been really quite. I have become an international teacher for the grace of Osho, because I was in Pune, and I was young and everybody knew me, and Pune at that time was so international. It is still is, the Osho's ashrams are, but at that time many people knew me. And so slowly, through writing this book, and it was translated in 9 different languages. I started anyway to start to connect with people who had seen me like very young, and then they start to invite me. And so my experience became also important for me to travel everywhere and to find out that the conditioning might be different in every country, in every different religion or race or whatever, but the fact is the same, that sex is always repressed.
Mm,
So it's been very simple. If I if you, and also everybody knows about sex, so it's very easy to work everywhere.
Mm.
That's how I have been.
Yeah. No, I'm so glad because ev- having meditation camps and retreats is excellent, and a lot of people are doing it. But this is kind of a dirty topic for a lot of people, right? And it takes a lot of courage to just get your hands in there and say, hey.
Yes.
Mm. So I'm really, really grateful to you for doing this.
Right.
Thank
Yeah.
you. There was this moment in your time with Osho when you were in a particular darshan with Osho and the music started playing and you became the music and you started whirling and then you found yourself on the floor prostrating to Osho. What was interesting to me, you said that this seemed like a perfect initiation and it would have been complete except that I was in love with my guru and the tantric vision of life. What does that mean to you? Like, just explain.
I don't understand. I don't remember having written something like that, but I would need to read my book again. Probably it's a long time
Yeah.
that I don't read.
Okay.
Um,
Maybe we'll do like you go
yeah,
back, you check your book and we'll. But I'll tell you what I felt. I felt
yeah,
like as if in that moment you because you started laughing, there was a great laughter in your
yeah,
belly that came, and those were all seem like what Osho talks about enlightenment. Like when people are
yeah. But it
maybe.
was a moment of satori.
Mm,
It was because I mean I was really totally new to everything, and it was one of the first times that I spent time with. Osho told me dance suddenly like that. He used to be much more. I mean, we were 10 people sitting around him at that time, 10, maybe even less, and and. And this person, this guy was playing guitar, and I was, I was swaying, I was enjoying the music as if it is like a big concert, because just the expansion that I felt in that moment, being in the energy, Osho's energy, it was so powerful.
mm,
And so the concert became a concert, for, no, I disappeared into this music. That's how I felt. And then Osho, I open my eyes and I see Osho looking at me, and then he gestures to me, get up and dance,
mm,
just like out of the blue.
mm,
And I start to go without any hesitation, because normally you say, oh, but I'm not able to dance and all those nonsense. But for me it was like boom. And actually, as a child and a young girl, I was a lot trying to be a dancer. So for me it was like, Osho. And I start to dance, and then in this dance I was whirling and whirling and whirling, and then I was nobody. There was a moment when there was just nobody, and then this very, very powerful laugh started to rising in me.
mm,
And this is what I mean, is like, yes, it's like a moment when you totally lose control, and in that losing control you have a great awareness, so you are, but you are not. You are not as a personality, but you are as a person, as
mm,
an energy, and laughing and laughing and laughing, and whirling and whirling. It doesn't matter where, you
mm,
know.
mm,
And that was my first experience of no mind, in the presence of Osho.
mm. So beautiful. So beautiful. Even living through your experience makes me happy, so joyous about it. Um, what is enlightenment for you? This all quest is you started, of course, not having any goal, but being in this for such a long time, that kind of becomes the goal for many people. Is that what you're looking? What do you think? If are you enlightened?
I mean, that is a thing that has disappeared. I mean, I have definitely been on the path of enlightenment. Osho was talking all the time about that. So he was definitely directing us towards a goal. And for me, that was the goal. But the more I meditated, the more I lived my life, the more I started to feel, okay with myself, the less I have been looking for enlightenment. So I believe that when you are not at all interested in enlightenment, you are enlightened. That's just, I'm just now exaggerating, but I don't see that enlightenment is big light. It's more nowhere to go, no desires, some deep relaxation, with yourself, and taking life moment to moment, wherever life is taking you, even if you don't like it sometimes. And so, in that sense, yes, this has happened to me. Also, Osho was talking about at some point sex just disappears. I thought it never going to happen to me, but it is. It is like that. It just disappears at some point. So with the disappearance of sex, you also have a disappearance of goals or expectations, and something melts, and then life is just as it is, as simple as that.
Yeah. Thank you, Radha, so much for your time with me and
Oh, yeah,
just being
thank
so
you.
gracious and generous. Life has been generous to you also because you have been courageous. Is there anything you look forward to? Is there anything you think is still waiting?
No,
Okay.
no. Okay,
Okay.
thank
Thank
you
you so
so
much.
much.
Lovely to
Thank you,
meet
thank
you.
you. Yeah, I
Love
love to
you.
hug you.
Yeah, me too. Okay. Bye bye.
Bye, sweetie.
I think I'll take my whiskey neat, my coffee black.